Hi guys, Louis at Defending Elvis. We're beginning the start of the day of a new way forward. A new way forward for Defending Elvis. We will always keep evolving. Elizabeth came up with an idea. Let's showcase the people that were good to Elvis, that were kind to Elvis, that were loyal, that never betrayed him, never backstabbed him. And I thought, yeah, that's a really good thing to do. I just thought there's quite a few people that were just really decent to Elvis, that have never bad-mouthed him or trashed him ever, whether it be yesterday or 40 years ago. So we are going to showcase these people. Today, we are talking about Ginger Alden. She did say a couple of things that she didn't need to say, I'll be honest. But she's pretty good. She's high up there. She hasn't spent her life trashing Elvis. I would say Ginger Alden has actually defended Elvis many, many times. I would say that she has actually said there are many untruths said about Elvis. Many untruths. We'll try and show a few clips that show that. Now, we're going to spend the day on Ginger Alden. I'm not sure how many shows I can do today, so we might have to do another day as well. Now, tomorrow I'm away for the day, but I am here for the morning, so I'll do some morning shows tomorrow. This has been sent to me by a few of you, the Ginger Alden in Eureka Springs. There's an actual YouTube site. Should we have a little look at it? I'll subscribe to it and like it. Let the dog in. I've already played some of it. See, we've already done a live this morning. So we've done about the first 10 minutes of it. This is very long. So I don't intend to play. It's an hour and 14 minutes long. So I'll probably play 10 minutes and then we'll show a few clips. Maybe discuss something on here in the book. Now, this is a lovely book. We have read some. I think we've read about 9 chapters of this book. It's a lovely book. Obviously, I can't read it word for word because YouTube tell me off. But from what I can tell, this is a great... this honours Elvis. So Elvis Presley and Gracelands were fixtures in Ginger Alden's life. After all, she was born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee. But she had no idea that she would play a part in that enduring legacy as Elvis Presley's fiancé and his last great love. For more than 3 decades, Ginger has held the truth of their relationship close to her heart, and now she shares her unique story. So I've only found this out today. This picture was taken at the funeral. Elvis obviously was very worried and concerned for Ginger because she had lost her grandfather, who she was very, very close to. And when he heard that she had to go to attend his funeral, he was very quick to say, "Can I come with you?" Something in Elvis wanted him to support her and be there for her with this loss, with her grandfather, who meant everything to her. And Elvis not only supported her as a boyfriend, he also accompanied her, even offered his aeroplane and took some of the family to the funeral. So beautiful, beautiful. Let's just play a bit of this, and then we're going to sort of jot around at different things. And we are showcasing the people that were good to Elvis, because Elvis deserves better, because he's worth it. Let's do it, guys.
Came to giving gifts, was he not?
Oh, absolutely.
And we've talked in private about this a lot. He bestowed a lot of jewelry on you during that Christmas month, did he not? And you kind of told him you weren't big into jewelry. What was his response?
Well, this was when I first went to Las Vegas. Elvis asked me, and I was with him for his very last, unfortunately. We were there, 10 days? I believe it was from December 2nd to December 12th. 1976, and it was his last Las Vegas performance. And I was sitting in his suite with him at the top of the Las Vegas Hilton, and I remember he I think Joe Esposito's road manager was there, and he was saying something to Joe, and Joe would leave and come back and all this, and Elvis would leave the room. And I remember all of a sudden, Elvis calls, I left the room once, came back in, and then Elvis tells me to close my eyes and hold out my hand. So I did, and this beautiful ring, like diamond cluster ring, was on my finger. And then he's like, okay, hold out your other hand. You know, he kept doing this, and I got 4 rings that night. And, you know, everyone knows Elvis with jewelry. And I was so blown away by it. And I wasn't really a jewelry person at the time. I didn't wear a lot of jewelry. And I remember saying to him, I said, Elvis,
So don't forget, guys, as far as I know, she was 19 when they met. Let's see how the story unfolds. So a man who had it all. A very young lady just embarking on her life. Suddenly her whole life is turned upside down, meeting Elvis Presley.
I appreciate this. This is a lot, you know, too much. And I said, I'm not a jewelry person. And he just looks at me and he goes, you'll learn to like it.
Well,
That's so funny. You'll learn to like it.
I see you're sporting a piece right there tonight.
I am.
Well, tell us about that.
Wow.
So let's read Carolyn's comment. Hi, Carolyn. So I like Ginger. I think she was too young for Elvis. I don't think he was going to marry her. I mean, come on, guys. Let's be honest. She was too young. Yeah. It's not a straightforward story because there's people say that there was other girls. We've heard different people's opinions. Some of the Memphis Mafia didn't like Ginger, did they? I think there was jealousy with Ginger. She didn't have it easy. Some of the things that are said about her can be quite cruel. She didn't want to go with him to the shows. She didn't want to live at Graceland. Some don't believe that the marriage was a genuine proposal. We've done the videos showing the engagement, the beautiful ring that's in the green case. We've done quite a few videos here concerning Ginger Rod. I know she does get a bad time, Ginger. She gets hassled. She has said a few things maybe she shouldn't have. Now, do I think Elvis was ready to marry Ginger? No. Too much was happening in 1977, 76, 77. Too much was happening. And he was very unwell. So do I think Elvis would have? Who knows, guys? We don't really know. She says that they planned a family. They planned to get married at Christmas. He wanted children. I think an older Elvis in his 40s probably was ready to settle down, probably was ready to have kids. So he probably did want a family, I would say. Now, would that have been Ginger? Maybe. 50-50. We don't know. What do you think, guys? Put it in the comments. Do you think Ginger and Elvis would have married if he hadn't have passed away that day? I know some pretty cruel things are said about her concerning the night that he passed. Obviously, she was asleep. Concerning like her putting makeup on and stuff. I just think she gets a tough time. One thing I will say, you have an initial bit where just after Elvis dies, she does a few interviews that I wish she didn't do. There's a movie she makes just after Elvis dies, which is on YouTube. I think the timing for that was quite bad because it was quite soon after Elvis died. But after that, everything goes quiet. She gets married, has her own family, and she's been very loyal and true to Elvis. Recently, obviously, she started, with her book being released, and she now does do personal appearances. I think someone said to me that once her husband had passed, then she was okay to do personal appearances. You tell me where I'm wrong, guys. Well, what's true? He wanted more children, so who knows? Yeah, we don't know, do we, Carolyn? I don't think they would have married, but that's just my opinion. Some people really think that they were definitely going to marry. Some people think there's no way. She does speak well of Elvis. She speaks well of his health towards the end. She says he was still very upbeat and positive, looking forward to the future, ready for the tour that was coming up the day after, and had lost some weight and was not heavily medicated in the way that it is portrayed by many people. Many people, including the Memphis Mafia and Linda Thompson, discussed that he was very heavily over-medicated. She says he wasn't. She accepts that he was medicated and there were side effects. He would have mood swings. But she says he was not anything like the man how he is portrayed incorrectly to the world, to the public, even by friends and family and ex-girlfriends. That he wasn't massive. He wasn't big and heavy. He was much lighter than people think. And this thing about him gorging on burgers, she says clearly it's bullshit. Bullshit. So she does defend Elvis. Ginger does defend Elvis. I know she has a very good Facebook page and she does answer questions. She does answer questions. She's pretty good. I think Ginger to me is a defender. She does defend Elvis. Now, is everything perfect? No. No, it's not. But she's one of the good ones. I would not call her a backstabber. I wouldn't never say that she betrayed him. I would never say she double-crossed him or anything. Did she like his money? Don't know. Many do. Did she like the gifts? Did she like how he was so generous to her family? Of course. It's difficult to really know all the ins and outs. We're going to learn together. But she's a beautiful lady. I completely see why Elvis was smitten by her. A very stunning lady. We're going to play some of the old interviews. We're going to just play a bit more of this and then try and find an old interview. And we're going to chop around a bit and then we may just discuss a few things in her book. So today is Ginger Alden Day. Okay, guys, let's go.
One night, I don't know how many of you are familiar with the TCB logos from Elvis, Taking Care of Business, and a lot of the females around him had these gold necklaces made, Tender Love and Care. And so I believe it was after Christmas, and I was at Graceland one night. And Elvis liked to do this with he loved to present things. And he had a box opened up with this necklace on it. And he would take the bedside lamp and shine it on it. And I came in the room and I saw this. And I was just blown away because it was a little while into the relationship. But this was special made.
So he kind of put it on display.
He did.
I think I heard Elvis, he liked to give gifts, but the biggest kick he got out of was seeing what your reaction was.
Oh, yeah. And he wasn't happy if he.
Why is that just suddenly stopped?
Which made him? Would you know?
I don't know what happened then, guys. 1 second. Guys, it just froze. I have no idea why.
Well, he came to Memphis to sing with a group called the Blackwood Brothers.
Maybe it's meant to be. Let's let it play.
The first time that I'd ever seen him.
How did you run into him this time?
So I'm just letting a few people know we're live, guys. I'll let this play just a second, and then we'll go back to Ginger Oldham.
In Vegas?
I just realized that they were available. And he'd formed a new quartet called the Stamps. And I listened to some of the records, and they had all this power.
He made the stamp. He brought it.
He put them together.
Tiny sprinkle.
One of his nephew and one's his son-in-law.
We are live.
Where they came from.
But each one of the guys individually are good, as you can
Oh, yeah,
see.
I noticed.
They all have good.
See, we come from a different background. We come from the Middle West, up in the West Coast.
You don't hear this too much.
So we don't hear this. So we see a bunch of guys that has a whole different kind of level of meaning to us because it's just not part of our background.
Right.
But like everybody comes from the same background, or is that's as much to you guys as it is to a kid in California growing up and surfing or little league baseball.
It's kind of like roots.
We grew up with it, from the time I can remember, like 2 years old. I grew up with this because my folks took me there. When I got old enough, I started to sing in church. And
That's how you got into singing?
Well, it's one of the ways.
One of the ways.
But I liked all type of music. When I was in high school, I had records about Mario Lanza and the Metropolitan Opera. I loved music. In Spanish, I liked the Mexican flavored songs.
Twice a day, yeah?
But this is so
Music
different.
period.
And then that way
But
we'll
this
never
thing
get
here,
affected.
the gospel thing is just. Excuse me. The gospel is really what we grew up with, more than anything else.
It shows in the music too, because there's a kind of, if you've seen Baptist choirs, there's a kind of intensity about it. And it's the same kind of intensity, electricity that you have on stage.
So we love watching him, don't we? I am going to go back to Ginger Alden. Just give it a few more seconds.
And there
It
seems
comes
to be
out
that
in almost
kind of-
every song.
It's a kind of a
Yeah,
soul.
like
It
a
comes from way
fantastic
deep
strength
inside.
that's inside, yeah.
It just isn't singing notes. It's singing something that seems to come from very deep inside of you.
And at certain times you push out, pull in. It's just a part of you. You don't really think about it.
When I was in France about 3 or 4 years ago, and I was doing a film on Jean-Claude Keely, and I asked him just offhand who was his favorite singer, and he said, Elvis Presley.
You said Elvis Presley. Too right, he did. Right. Let's try and find it.
But this was
So in case you just joined us, guys, we are just only going to play about 5 minutes of this. We're going to read a bit of the book, play some old interviews. Let's keep going.
special made.
So he kind of
for
put it
me.
on display.
He did.
I think I heard Elvis, he liked to give gifts, but the biggest kick he got out of was seeing what your reaction was.
Oh, yeah. And he would be, he wasn't happy if he
I don't know why, it keeps stopping at that bit. See if we can get past it.
another one for a 10 cents personal. And I always look back in things. This is going way back. My father, this is a whole other story about the Army and all this. When Elvis, my father was in public relations and recruiting for the Army. And back, 1958, when Elvis, the word was getting out of the draft board that Elvis would be drafted, so a lot of the different branches of the military were going to try to get him to join. And my father went down to Graceland once my father was in the Army, and to try to...
So I think we know about this. Didn't she get to meet Elvis when she was just a young child? Let's keep going.
Get Elvis to join, possibly think about joining the Army. And Elvis wasn't home. He was told, Elvis wasn't home, but before my father could go back, Elvis got drafted into the Army. So Elvis was in the Army 2 years. When he came back, let's back up here. My father, when Elvis was enlisted or drafted, my father was at the Kennedy Veterans Hospital. And the new recruits were brought in, and so there are some pictures of Elvis, that were put in the paper, and Elvis shaking my father's hand. And that was a really cool thing, but that particular day, my father told us later that Elvis wanted to make a phone call, and he didn't have change. And so he asked my father if he had any change. My father gave him a dime. And so I always relate in a strange way that it was just a joke that this check that Elvis wrote me was a dime. I said, it's payback. In a strange, weird way, but that little check.
I want to go back to a comment.
I mean, it's fascinating. It's fascinating that she that happened with her dad. It just, don't know. It's bizarre. It's like almost fated, almost sort of meant to be.
You made earlier today about the necklace, because I asked her a little bit more in depth about her receiving it, and she made the comment that when I got this necklace, I thought hey, finally I'm part of the group. And as history prevails, there's a lot of different cast of characters in that group, and vicious. I mean, when we first met 5 or 6 years ago, I said, this Elvis world, it's spliced up and it's fractionalized.
Oh, I love it. This Elvis world is spliced up. That's a good way of putting it. Guys, we know the Elvis world is very dramatic, pretty crazy. Now, many of us are I think we're just decent, lovely people that just want to defend Elvis, that want to be there for Elvis in every way possible. But guys, I have to be the first one to say, unfortunately, there's some pretty cruel people out there in the Elvis world, pretty nasty, pretty hateful people in the Elvis world. We've experienced it firsthand again and again and again, not just from channels, from Elvis fans as well. But the majority of Elvis fans are lovely people. I would say, I can't say that about all the channels. I can't. I think some of the channels clearly don't want Elvis defended, which is just ridiculous because he needs defending. But anyway, we won't go on a tangent. Let's carry on.
It wasn't really what you expected, but there's a reason why you really didn't get to know a lot of the entourage because of Elvis's choosing. Kind of walk us through that day to day with you and Elvis, and a lot of times Rosemary was a part, of going into the private quarters and you guys kind of closing those doors where maybe in the past, previous relationships or with other people in the entourage or even family members, he was more engaging. But when you kind of came on the scene, he apparently switched some of his gears a little bit and spent a lot of that time with you and even Rosemary when you guys were out on the road.
Rosemary's my eldest sister.
So you, in my opinion as a fan, I think you kind of got a bad rap, from some of the people that were there because they were accustomed to certain interactions with people in Elvis's life, and that necessarily did not happen with you. You want to expound
It was
that.
hard. Some people,
So I have watched a couple of interviews of people that were close to Elvis, friends and family, that just didn't like Ginger Alden, didn't like her, said that she just wanted to go out and sort of go to pool parties, etc. I think that's been unfair to her. She was much younger, but so she had different interests than Elvis, obviously, but she does get picked on. Ginger Alden does get picked on.
where basically I didn't get to know a lot of the people. I mean, Elvis kept me very sheltered upstairs with him a lot. And so it was difficult I wasn't able, and maybe within the time frame, I was so focused on Elvis and that it just wasn't easy. I wasn't hanging out downstairs, and he didn't want that. And I could tell there was some changes coming, but
So I didn't know that. She wasn't hanging out downstairs. So she didn't go down and mix with the Memphis Mafia. Is that true? And then she says there was changes coming.
I think our relationship, it scared some people. Some people thought, well, this isn't going to last. They were used to certain things. And when it was just, unfortunately, I didn't get a lot of time to know people well. And there were a lot of stories started that just weren't true, and things misunderstood. So that's why I waited a long time, but I finally wrote a book because I thought I had to try to clear up and let people see what was actually happening, because a lot of people never knew.
So that's interesting. She just said, I waited a long time before I wrote the book. Let's just quickly, when was the book written? So we have actually gone through this book before, not the whole book. I think we read about 9 chapters. So it says here 2014 was when this was copyrighted and released. Does that sound right to you? In her own words, Ginger details their whirlwind romance, from the first kiss to his stunning proposal of marriage, and for the very first time she talks about the devastating end of it all, and the tens of thousands of mourners and the reporters who descended onto Graceland in 1977, exposing Ginger to the reality of living on the spotlight of a short yet immortal life. Above all, Ginger rescues Elvis from the hearsay, the rumors, the tabloids, the speculations of his final years. This is very important. There was so many disgusting things said about Elvis by friends and family and ex-girlfriends and people that work for him. Yeah, and just generally in biographies, documentaries, movies, TV dramas, you name it. Elvis was very unfairly portrayed, which is why we defend him here. Above all, Ginger rescues Elvis from the hearsay, the rumors, the tabloid, the speculation of his final years. He really was portrayed in a disgusting way. It's so, when I see how Elvis was portrayed in his final years, I'm horrified. Me as an Elvis fan, we as Team Elvis fans around the world, we are disgusted by how Elvis has been portrayed. It's so unfair. And it's so far from the true man, the man we love. It's so far from the real man inside his heart, the Christian man, the good man that Elvis was, that did so much good, that really did care, that really was a very loving, soft-centered man with a golden heart. So she stands out as a bright, shining star that defends Elvis. She does. If you go through and you listen to her, she really does ridicule all the horrible things that were said to about Elvis after he died by the people that was supposedly loved him, supposedly were his relatives, some of them his ex-girlfriends. Just very cruel, very cruel. People very close to Elvis, yeah, including the Stanley brothers, yeah. Said things that they should never have said, Dave and Ricky. Obviously Dee Stanley, the disgusting things she said. It's good that we have someone like Ginger Alden that will speak well of Elvis. She did say a few naughty things when they just after Elvis passed. A few things that I think she could have kept private. But other than that, she's been a real trooper for Elvis. I think she's done good for Elvis, and she's helped his legacy. She's helped maintain her part of his reputation and image. At least there's someone there saying, actually, he wasn't as fat as you think. He wasn't drugged up in the way that you've been told. That he was sick. He needed his medication. She's one of the people that are saying that. How he was happy and upbeat. Yes, he would have mood swings. And she says that his performances at the end were brilliant. I think she said, was it 10 or 8 performances that she saw? She said he was brilliant. This is right at the end of his life. So, a unique, intimate perspective. She reveals the man's complicated, romantic, and fallible, and that he was a human and behind the myth and superstar, worshipped by millions and loved by Ginger Alden. A frank and personal light on a very public legend. She has said there's a few things in this book that are probably a bit uncomfortable, that maybe some of the fans won't like. But generally, the book is good for Elvis, I would say.
Right. In an interview I recently saw with Larry Geller, who, if you don't know, he did hairstyling and some of the spiritual stuff with Elvis. He even alluded to, without even mentioning you, in that last year of his life, Elvis was definitely making changes in his life. And, I see that.
I could tell by things he said to me, different events that had happened and little things, or sometimes he'd get mad.
Do you hear that? Elvis was making changes in his life. Then she says, I can tell by the things that he said to me. Let's keep listening.
And I'm going to fire this person, and I'm going to do this. And, that it just...
I want to rewind that a bit because I want to really listen to that. Let's quickly read your comments. Thank you everyone who's joined me here at Defending Elvis. In case you don't know, we have moved on to 2 topics. We forgive. We have to move on and forgive. So we have been very critical of certain people, members of the family, the Memphis Mafia and Priscilla. It's time to move on we have to forgive and move on, which is what Elvis would want us to do. It doesn't change the fact that these things did happen. These things did happen. So we did have to bring up these things to defend Elvis. The message we have from Team Elvis and Defending Elvis, our channel, is that we will expose people who have wronged Elvis, no matter who they are. No matter who they are. Related, work for him, ex-girlfriend, ex-wife, in a book, in a biography, in a documentary, doesn't matter what it is. If they've done wrong to Elvis, we're going to expose it. We're going to expose it. But then we move on and forgive. We have to do that. So we're moving on. We're now discussing Ginger Alden. Part of what we've decided to do, Elizabeth suggested it, and I think it's a great idea, is that we are going to highlight the people that were good to Elvis. We're going to highlight and showcase the people that were good to him, that were loyal to him, never double-crossed him, didn't just see money, property, cars, motorbikes, jewelry, possessions, gifts. They saw Elvis, the true man, here and stayed loyal to him no matter what. Like Ginger Alden, like Anne Margaret, yeah? Charlie Hodge, Larry Geller. We are going to showcase those people. So there's 2 sides to what we're doing now. We are going to still expose people that have betrayed Elvis, but we are also going to show off the people that were so good to him, Okay, guys, let's keep going.
It wasn't easy. I wasn't hanging out downstairs, and he didn't want that. And I could tell there was some changes coming, but I think our relationship, it scared some people, some people thought, well, this isn't going to last, they were used to certain things, and when it was just, unfortunately, I didn't get a lot of time to know people well, and there were a lot of stories started that just weren't true, and things misunderstood, so that's why I waited a long time, but I finally wrote a book because I thought I had to try to clear up and let people see what was actually happening, because a lot of people never knew,
Important words, guys. I thought I'd write a book and try and clear up what was actually happening. A lot of people never knew. I want to play that again. It's very important.
Change is coming, but I think our relationship, it scared some people. Some people thought, well, this isn't going to last, they were used to certain things, and when it was just, unfortunately, I didn't get a lot of time to know people well, and there were a lot of stories started that just weren't true, and things misunderstood, so that's why
I like that word, misunderstood.
Waited a long time, but I finally wrote a book because I thought I had to try to clear up and let people see what was actually happening, because a lot of people never knew,
Right. In an interview I recently saw with Larry Geller, who, if you don't know, he did hairstyling and some of the spiritual stuff with Elvis. He even alluded to, without even mentioning you, in that last year of his life, Elvis was definitely making changes in his life, and
I could tell by things he said to me, different events that had happened and little things, or sometimes he'd get mad and I'm going to fire this person and I'm going to do this. And I think some things were different for people, and maybe I think a single Elvis, I think people were afraid of their world changing a lot, and they liked things kind of the way they were. And so I think it was a little scary when...
That's interesting. Obviously, she mentions Elvis firing people, but remember, if Elvis and Vernon behind the scenes are considering firing people, obviously we know the situation with the book Elvis, What Happened, Red West, Sunny West, Dave Hebler. They try to give us their version of how it was so unfair that they lost their jobs. Obviously, you know my views, guys. These guys betrayed Elvis. Should never have wrote that book. That book was a betrayal. But she mentions here that things were changing. And the guys didn't like it. Things were changing. The guys didn't like it. The Memphis Mafia. Elvis was settling. He was an older man. He was seeing the world differently. It wasn't all about partying, having fun with girls. Elvis had calmed down, had matured, some may say, had grown weary of the Vegas years. Yeah? So you get it, guys? Let's hear what she says.
When I met Elvis and what was happening between us and what they were kind of seeing, and
I don't think they challenged him too much, maybe through the history, but you actually alluded to certain incidences in your book where you did push back and you did ask questions, and I don't think you've ever really gotten a fair platform on why you did that.
Yeah.
Maybe you can talk a little bit about, why you did push back, why you did challenge him to do better.
For those of you who have read my book, there were some events that happened, and I had to write about those, because Elvis, I always said 98% of the time he was a wonderful person, and then this darkness would come in because of what I remember with the medication usage, and it would cause some mood swings. And I thought, when you're trying to help someone, so I went through some events with him, and he wasn't used to being told maybe not to do this or don't do, and I kind of suffered for that later from some others, because things were misunderstood. People just thought, one of the biggest things that some people started lying about was that Ginger Alden hated touring, or she didn't want to do this, or she asked him to have her parent. None of that's true at all. I mean, I love...
All right, so you hear that? So a lot of the people say that Ginger Alden hates, that's one of the things that is said, that she hated touring. So she's just said that's not true. We don't know. There's many things that are said about her. So here she's trying to sort of clear the air a bit. Just for Karen, we send you love. We pray for you. Team Elvis, we all give you a big hug. You need to go and deal with your family issues, you know, the things that have happened. I'm so sorry for your loss, Karen. So we support you with love. Okay, Karen?
Loved watching Elvis perform, you know. I wouldn't have been at every single show, and just, I mean, I loved music. I grew up, my mom was musical, my sister played piano, and so someone started that along the way, and I didn't do a lot of, you know, take part in a lot of books early on, and so you kind of have to go back to the original people that started some of those stories, and I know who the majority of them are, and then a biographer will come along and pick up that story, because I didn't talk to the biographers, you know, and so, and then they run with it, so the story stays the same. And, you know, when Elvis passed away, I went on with my life, and I was proud of that. I worked, you know, I had a son, and when my son went off to college, because of so much out there, and I wasn't aware of a lot of stuff that was said. I knew a few things, but I thought, I've got to do this for history's sake, because it was unfair to Elvis, it was unfair to me. So it took 38 years, but I had written down a lot of stuff shortly after Elvis. Some things you don't forget, but I wanted to hold on to all that, so I'd written down a lot of things. And I'm so thankful that I was able to get that out. Yeah, I mean,
Well, one of
I think that says it all. She waited 38 years to try and get the truth out there. A big part of the truth isn't just defending Elvis, it's defending herself. She feels that many things have been said about her that were just completely unfair, untrue, and not fair on her, not fair on Elvis. Yeah? I've heard the Memphis Mafia have said a few things about Ginger that I just thought were not very nice. I won't name people. I'm just saying it wasn't very nice. Hi, Luann. Martha, I think you've worked it out yet. We are on a new mission to show off the people that actually spoke well of Elvis. Yeah. And we are still going to be exposing the people that have trashed him, and betrayed him. But we're doing a bit of both now. A bit of the people that betrayed him, expose them. The people that have been really good to him and kept his memory nice in the way that they speak about him. So we're doing a bit of both. So today is a Ginger Alden day. So one very touching, the prologue, the beginning of the prologue in Ginger Alden's book. It was 3 p.m. on Tuesday, August the 16th, 1977. I was sitting inside Dodger Presley's bedroom at Graceland with a member of Elvis's family, including Vernon, his father, and Dodger, Vernon's mother, Elvis' daughter Lisa, and my niece Amber, who had become friendly with Lisa. And as the minutes ticked away, I felt my anxiety mounting and was finding it difficult to breathe. We had been sitting a vigil for what seemed like an eternity, silently praying for good news. The tension was unbearable. I suddenly felt like I had to leave the room, and if by doing so my mind could escape to that precious time a short while ago before I'd made the shocking discovery in the upstairs bedroom. Of course, I knew what was impossible. The imprint of what I had seen would be forever burned in my memory. Could you imagine that horrible time on a Tuesday? On a Tuesday. Horrible, guys. Horrible. So this is going to be part 2. I think we've already done part 1. Now we are 23 minutes in. I wanted to just see if we can find an old clip. Of Ginger Alden just talking about Elvis. So let's just have a look at this. There's one here. Now,
Elvis Presley.
Now, I warn you guys, I do think Ginger does say a couple of things I would rather she didn't say. Hang on a minute. Let me just find a clip. I'm not going to play that one. Let's have a look. Here we go. Right, here we are. Let's listen to this clip here. Okay, are you ready?
I wrote down all of my memories
shortly after Elvis passed away. It was just my way of holding on. You know, I wanted to hold on and not forget. And time went on. I went forward with my life. I worked. I got married, had my son. And in the course of all this, a lot of untruths were being said regarding mine and Elvis's relationship, a lot of exaggerations. And
what were some of the untruths?
well, just that Elvis was unhappy, or we argued a lot, things like that, which was not true. And so I wanted to set the record straight, and I waited until my son, who just turned 20 this past August 20th, went off to college.
I mean, she's stunning there, isn't she? I wonder, what year is this? So I'm guessing this is a good 10 years ago. Yeah, 10 years ago. Let's give them a like. She's so beautiful 10 years ago. I actually don't know her age. I should do, but she must be in her 50s, maybe even 60s. She looks great, doesn't she? Let's keep listening.
And I sat down, and it took me about 2 years, and I put together all of my memoirs. And finally, I had my book.
So, you mentioned Nancy Sinatra. Nancy Sinatra is another one that has always spoke beautifully about Elvis. There were rumors about Nancy and Elvis in the trailer. She was engaged to someone, wasn't she? Is it Tommy Sands, I think? She's always said nothing happened between them other than on-screen kisses, you know, like movie kisses. She does admit that she found him super sexy and really fancied him, but she was in a committed relationship, so nothing could happen. Did anything happen? I don't know, guys, but we love Nancy Sinatra. Nancy Sinatra actually does follow our Twitter X channel. She follows us. I'm a big fan of Nancy Sinatra. Was it Speedway, the name of the movie that she did with Elvis? I know that Nancy Sinatra met Elvis on his way back from the army when he was discharged and gave him a silk shirt as a gift from her father, Frank Sinatra.
There's a perception that has lingered for many years that when, just before Elvis died, that he was unhappy, that he was this big guy who was just not the old Elvis that we all knew, that he had maybe even lost his will to live.
Right up until the day he died. I mean, there are just things that I've seen in books, and I said this wasn't what I witnessed. This wasn't the person I loved. This wasn't how he was those last, 9 months, and I was with him 98% of the time. He had asked me to move into Graceland, but I never did, and he said, I respect you for that. I just didn't at the time. It wasn't my way. And but I was up there pretty much every day. And I just think the portrayal, the image of him, has been really unfair. And Elvis was not someone sitting up and gorging on. He could be compulsive sometimes when eating certain foods, but this image, I never once saw him eat a fried peanut butter, the famous fried peanut butter and banana sandwiches. I never once saw that.
So I guess your biggest concern.
Well, see, that's interesting, isn't it? People sort of say that he was gorging on fried peanut butter sandwiches, and she's saying no, it didn't happen. She didn't once see him do it. This is how unfairly portrayed Elvis is in the papers, in the tabloids. So wrong, so wrong. Even friends and family have said that, have mentioned his eating habits in quite a cruel way, I think, quite a cruel way. She's there saying, don't believe it, it's not true.
Concern has been that a lot of what has happened over the past 40 years is that he's been defined by those final months of his life.
This is important. He's been defined by those final months of his life. And when you go back and you listen to all these different people, many and most of them, if not all of them, are friends and family or people that work for Elvis. They've exaggerated the drug problem, the eating problem, the being locked away in his bedroom. It's all been exaggerated and twisted to sensationalize everything, to sell more books, tabloids, magazines, interviews, TV stuff, biographies, documentaries. Many people very close to Elvis have trashed him. So she's jumping in, Ginger Alden, and this guy is very good, this guy, and saying it's all lies. It's all been twisted and exaggerated in a way that damages Elvis's image and reputation. So I like this little clip.
Life. And you're saying that what people perceived was his life really was not the reality.
He was never bored. He didn't act down. We laughed. We watched television. He played the organ in his room. Sometimes we went out. We rode three-wheelers. He had these great fun three-wheelers. We went motorcycle riding.
You still miss him?
They had fun. They had fun. Went motorcycle riding. Do you still miss him? Do you still miss him? So yeah, I'm not going to do a big hoo-ha for Priscilla's birthday. It's not happening. I would feel stupid if I in any way celebrated Priscilla's birthday. She doesn't deserve it. The way Priscilla Presley treated Elvis, she doesn't deserve to be commemorated and celebrated. I'm not hateful. I don't want to be hateful to Priscilla. But on my show, there's no way that we are highlighting or celebrating or making anything about Priscilla on her birthday. Not going to happen. Not on my show. Elvis deserves better. Elvis deserves better. And so, yeah, I get your comment, Martha.
Oh, yeah. I mean, of course. You know, I miss that we didn't get to see where he was going to go and you know, hear more of his music. And, you know, he had a lot left to do.
I love that. I love that. We didn't see where he was going to go. Missed out on a lot of music. It's like, this is lovely. How can you fault that? How can you fault those beautiful words? The bottom line is that was only a 2 minutes and 30-second clip. She spends all of it praising Elvis and defending him. So these very early clips, I do warn you, she does say things that you might not like. Let's have a listen.
And Elvis had a jeweler, Lowell Hayes, take the diamond from that ring and put to this.
And what was the scene as he gave you the ring?
I remember we were in his lounge area, we were in his bathroom, and...
So she's going to talk about how they got engaged. I've only got a few minutes left, guys. I'm not exactly sure what she's going to say, but let's just have a little listen. Hopefully it's all going to be good stuff. I think this is 1978, I think.
I had no idea about the ring, and Elvis walked in. He took my hand, we both walked into the bathroom, and I sat down in a black leather chair, and he said just some beautiful, beautiful things. And then he said, I'm asking you, will you marry me? And he was on his knees, old-fashioned. So it was a very beautiful moment for me.
Absolutely. And that's not TC.
I don't know if you can hear it that well, guys. There's a bit of music kicking in, but let's keep going.
B that you're wearing around your neck. That's TLC.
TLC.
And that's what that
stands for tender love and care. My personal feelings, I think there were a lot of people around Elvis that should never have been around him.
Do you hear that? There were a lot of people around Elvis that should never have been around him. Now, if you think about the last week we've had, guys, woohoo! She was there at the end.
And I don't think they really enjoyed working for Elvis, because I think when they were asked to do things, I know for myself, asking them to do things, they would roll their eyes like, oh gee, I have to do.
I don't think they liked working for Elvis because they didn't like being asked to do things. Did that happen at the end, guys? Was it impossible for Elvis to ask these guys to do things even though he was paying them? She was there, guys. She was there. She watched things. Now, I've heard the guys badmouth Ginger Alden. I could play you a video now. One in particular trashing Ginger Alden, one of the Memphis Mafia. I'm not going to play it, but this is an eye-opener, isn't it?
This again, like go have someone to make his food or something like that. And I think so many of the people that were around Elvis kept him away from reality quite a bit by always saying, okay, you can have your way here, and always being afraid to say no to him. And I think he lived a little out of touch of reality. One of the things that he said to me that always stayed in my mind was, he said, I'm not that street out there. If you cut me, I bleed. Because the street was named Elvis Presley Boulevard.
I'm not that street out there. If you cut me, I'll bleed. And very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. I mean, she really is stunning, yeah? And still speaking beautifully about Elvis. Honest words about the people around him and how he lived.
And I think he wanted people to look at him. I don't think Elvis could quite comprehend what he had done and who he was. And I think he wanted people to be able to just sit and talk to him. Yet he liked to control the conversation.
Do you know what? I'll tell you what. I don't know how old she is here. Probably 21, yeah? Maybe 22. I'm not sure how long after this is. But what a wise woman. Everything she says is very wise. She picks the people apart. The people around Elvis, she picks them apart with just a few words. She describes Elvis very intricately with just a few words. Very smart. Very smart. She says Elvis is a very strong-minded person, but he just wanted to talk to you. Elvis loved to talk to people, get to know them, really get inside them. Yeah? So I love all this.
And all of that attention all those years, there's no way, I don't think anyone else could have controlled the attention. But I just really think that he always kind of wanted that attention. So I just think
So, Hillbilly Cat, welcome Matthew. Yeah, we have mentioned it quite a few times. It's free on YouTube. Hillbilly Cat, just remind the people the name of that film. She looks stunning in that film. I've watched some of it. It is based on a rock star. It's a bit of a boring film, but the standout thing for me in the film, that's too loud now. The standout thing for me in that film, Ginger Alden's film, just after Elvis died, is she is stunning. She is stunning.
Elvis had a very special aura or mystical attraction about him that is really hard to explain.
So it's hard to hear, guys. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but because of the music that's playing. But they were jealous of Elvis's relationship with Anne Margaret too. I don't know that. From what the few bits I heard, they quite liked Anne Margaret. I think I heard Jerry, and Marty, I'm sure it was them two, discussed Anne Margaret. Was there a few others? Because she just would play along with the lads, wouldn't she? As far as I know, Anne Margaret got on all right with the guys. I could be wrong. I'm just trying to remember different interviews I've watched. I think she was very popular, yeah? She knew how to be one of the guys. So I'm not so sure if that's right, Mystic. I'm not sure. You tell me, guys. I want to be fair. When we critique, I want to be fair. Yeah, that's it, Luann. It's a bit slow. That movie, her movie's a bit slow. Yeah. Carolyn, you don't have a big butt. What are you on about? You're tiny. What are you on about? I would have got a nose job just to be in his presence. What are you doing? You have to learn to love yourself. Learn to love yourself. Stop putting yourself down, Carolyn. So I'm just having a joke. Memphis, yeah, I heard that, Emily. Yeah, the Memphis Mafia guys liked Anne Margaret. I've read that. Yeah, they loved Anne Margaret, but I feel they didn't want her to be with Elvis deep down. I don't know. That's quite a strong opinion. I don't know. Obviously, we know that there was a period when they liked Priscilla and didn't like Priscilla. It sort of jumped around, didn't it? They say that Priscilla changed. There was a sweet side to her, but after the marriage, she changed a lot. That's the bit I've read. Yeah.
Was it religious?
I think so. I personally feel, I think Elvis was, I think God chose Elvis as a very special person.
So I'm not sure if you can hear this. I think God chose Elvis as a very special person. I like that, guys.
And gave him a beautiful voice in which to make people happy, and that's what he did.
Gave him a beautiful voice to make people happy, and that's what he did. Wow. This lady is so smart. The way she speaks is lovely.
I wanted everything to be so right when we did get married. I wanted to sort things out ahead of time. And sometimes our small disagreements were blown up. One person would hear it, they would blow it up as, gee, she's upset if she said no to him. I think I was...
So, yeah, she's saying that some of their little arguments, because they obviously had some arguments, yeah? were blown up by other people. And I've heard these other people talk about this. It's pretty obvious some of the Memphis Mafia did not like this lady. Very, very obvious, yeah? You've only got to go back in history and look at the old interviews. And she's sort of lightly touching on it now, isn't she?
One of the few that did say no, and Elvis was so used to all of these years being, I think so many people...
So Hillbilly, you've just said Ginger never says anything bad about anyone. Well, she sort of does. Ha! If you listen to this interview, she's clearly slating the people that were around Elvis at the end. So I can't agree with your comment. Watch this back. But if we're concerning Elvis, she speaks beautifully about Elvis. Beautifully.
Were afraid to lose their job by saying no to him. And, you know, like when Elvis was watching a TV program, and most of the things Elvis said were funny and you would laugh, but sometimes he would mention something and it wasn't really funny, and when he laughed, the whole room laughed. And then when he quit, everyone quit. And I just thought that was kind of sad.
What were the last words that you exchanged, in fact?
Do you hear that? What were the last words you exchanged? So Linda's just mentioned something. The two things I asked you to watch. Just remind me what they are. I'm going to be straight with you guys. I definitely don't watch everything you guys send me or ask me to watch. I watch the things I can fit into my life. Yeah, I struggle. Don't forget, some days I'm sent 40, 50 different things. So I will just pick out a couple of them, quickly watch what I can. So yeah, Linda, it's going to happen. My life and my 5 children and my wife. I'm lucky I get to watch anything.
As best I recall, I remember I told Elvis, well, don't fall asleep when he went into the bathroom. And
so she said to him, don't fall asleep, just before he went to the bathroom.
He said, I won't.
And he did fall asleep, of course.
I didn't see Elvis for...
Carolyn, you're half Italian. That's interesting. You know, my wife is quarter Italian. Carolyn, my wife's father was half Italian. Did you know that?
Several months before he passed away. But when I left him, he looked fine.
All right, so it's gone on to Linda Thompson. So that's a different topic. So, which I do want to play, but not now. So, guys, we're coming up to an hour, I think. Let's have a look. So we've only got a couple of minutes left. Thanks for joining me, by the way. Yeah, so Linda says, I don't think Elvis would have married anyone. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have different opinions, don't they? On whether or not they would have got married or had children. They were supposed to get married at Christmas, weren't they? I'm 50-50. I'm 50-50. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, maybe, maybe not. Elvis was getting older. He was starting to be more settled. He wasn't interested in living like a single man. But other women have been mentioned, haven't they? Yeah, when Elvis was with Ginger. Mystic, we all love Anne Margaret. We're going to definitely have an Anne Margaret Day. Remember what we've decided. We're putting the topic to one side concerning the Memphis Mafia and certain friends, certain people. We're trying to focus now on some positive people like Ginger Alden. We still will defend and expose people that have betrayed Elvis. We're still going to do it. But at the moment, we're just moving away from the topic and we're discussing the people that we feel were good to Elvis and have stayed true to Elvis. This is what we're discussing today. But tomorrow, we may expose someone. We're called Defending Elvis. We will still be exposing people that have been wrong to Elvis, that have mistreated Elvis. So, guys, I gotta go. Never hate, Mystic. Never hates. I always forgive and move forward. That's the way we are. Even all the trolls and all these people, I forgive them all. All of them. Forgiveness. Elvis said many times Ginger looked like Gladys. She brought her to his mind. So maybe he would have married her. Maybe. I'm not capable of hate, guys. I don't have that in me. I don't have it in me. I'm capable of standing up and disagreeing with people, exposing people that betray, exposing backstabbers and all that. But I don't hate them. Don't hate them. Even the people that attack me, call me names, I don't hate them. I don't hate them. I never will. Okay, guys, gotta go. So I hope you enjoyed it. Now, we're going to do more. It's Ginger Alden Day, so we will come back, do some more. We're going to show some more of the interview. We're going to read. We will read some more of this book. Yeah. And we'll try and play a few more old clips of Ginger Alden. So we're going to spend the day talking about Ginger Alden. Tomorrow we will pick a different person. I was thinking maybe Anne Margaret. Anne Margaret. Tomorrow we'll do Anne Margaret because I am going to highlight the people that were good to Elvis. I'm going to showcase the people that were good to Elvis. We're going to do it for 2 or 3 days, and then we'll get back to defending and exposing people. So I must repeat, we will expose the people that have mistreated Elvis. We will do it. We are called Defending Elvis. We will do it. No matter who they are, friends, family, ex-girlfriend, ex-wife, we will be exposing them. If they have betrayed Elvis and backstabbed Elvis, we are going to expose them. It's going to happen. Yeah, because that's what we do. We are here for Elvis. Elvis deserves better because he's worth it. Elvis is worth it. We stand by Elvis. We defend him with pride. With pride. Okay, guys, gotta go. Take care. Love to all of you. We've done an hour. This is the second show we've done today, and we did post a video today as well. All the best, guys. Love you all. Love you all, guys. Do you want to come and say goodbye? Right, Tina wants to say goodbye. Tina wants to come and say goodbye. Right, let's have a look. Oh yes. So Tina wants to say goodbye. Look at his necklace. Look at that. So Tina, me and Tina have Saturday mornings together. Right, careful that ball, it'll roll on. So Tino is 5, by the way, guys. Tino, look there, look at the camera. Yeah, someone sent you a what? A toy. Someone sent Tino a toy, but Tony sent this. Show them your chain. Show them. He loves his chain. He loves his chain. Tony sent him that. So would you like to say anything to Team Elvis? Would you like to say anything? Oops. Bye, Team Elvis. Bye, Team Elvis. So Team Elvis, do you like Elvis? Do you like Elvis? Look up there. Do you like him? Come on, you do. He likes the Elvis songs. Do you like Elvis songs? Just tell. He's not going to answer. All right, have you said enough now? Do you want to go? He's going. Say bye. Say see you later, alligator. See you later, alligator. He's going to have one of Joanne's sweets that she sent me. He likes the sweets, don't you? What sweet is it? It's a soother. A mint, what's it? Hawes.
Where's the honey one?
So, Joanne sent me from Amazon these throat lozenges for my bad throat. She's so funny. Joanne, you're so funny. Oh, thanks, Luann. Everyone loves you. Look, everyone's telling you they love you. Emily's saying it, Jane and Lorna.
Look at the colour.
Tina, are you good at football? How good? Martha, Carolyn, Luann, Martha. So yesterday you were at football. So yesterday he was at football and he scored 59 goals. Oh, thank you, Martha. What? It's yellow. So these throat lozenges that Joanne sent me, he likes them. He doesn't like the honey in the middle. So you do. Well, he sucks them until you get to the honey bit. Yeah. So this is what Joanne sent me from Amazon. 1 pack of sweets for my throat. She also sent me my award. Joanne sent me that, and she sent me this book. She keeps sending me things. I love it. I love any of you guys want to send me something. God, I love gifts. So that's Carolyn. Carolyn. See that? That's a little wave, isn't it? It's a little wave from Carolyn. So what football team do you support? Chelsea. He likes Chelsea. So are you going to be a famous footballer when you grow up? And who do you love more, mummy or daddy? Mummy. Mum, I know. We don't mind. You've got to love your mum, haven't you? Does mummy tell you off? Sometimes. Who tells you off the most, mummy or daddy? Dad, I don't tell you. I never tell you off. I'm a big softie. I'm a big softie. What happened to Tino? No, what happened to Giovanni?
Friend on the side of what?
Yeah.
Back on
Yeah.
here.
So Giovanni, who's 15, came home with a cut here on his forehead where they were stone throwing.
Yeah, right there.
They were throwing stones at each other, thought it was funny, and Giovanni comes home with a little cut here about about 2 centimeters wide. It's quite deep. I obviously wasn't happy. This was last night, but he's okay today. So Tino has the same color your background. Yeah, his t-shirt matches my background stuff. We haven't brushed his hair yet. So guys, just so you know, we're all going away tomorrow. We're having a day out. My granddaughter Savannah says Tino is cute. Oh, hi Savannah. Tino, say hi to Savannah. Look at the camera. Say hi, Savannah. Ah, thanks, Emily. So I'm away tomorrow, but I'm not going until 1 o'clock. So I will be doing some videos in the morning. We're away. We're going to Yasmin's dance competition.
Stay there for
1 night.
one night. Then the real holiday will stay there for 8 weeks.
Yeah. So basically, tomorrow we're staying in a hotel. We're gonna have a nice posh meal. We're gonna wake up and have a posh breakfast. So we will be away. I still will try and do a little live. And we obviously will go into Spain at the end of July for 1 week. For 8 days.
Just 5 days because you're doing that.
Jane, did you see the video I sent you of Jamie Vardy's at my grandson's school in Leicester? I don't remember, Jane. When did you send it? I don't remember. Now remember, I'm not a football fan. Does Jamie Vardy play for Chelsea? Is that what this is?
No.
I don't know who Jamie Vardy is, but my son would. My son would. I'm not a football fan.
1, 5, 1, 4, 3.
Yeah.
That equals 8.
Yeah. So yeah, we're going to Spain to a place called, what's it called? I forget the name of it now. The last week of
1,
July, and I still will do
3.
I still will do a live every day. Even though I'm in Spain, I'm still going to do a live every day in Spain. I'll probably be half naked, but you know. All right, guys, that's it. So I hope you enjoy our new path. Our new path now is we are going to praise and promote and showcase the people that were good to Elvis, the people that didn't betray him, the people that didn't backstab him. That's our new thing, but we still will carry on exposing the people that have betrayed him. That's what we do, guys. Right, he plays for Leicester. Got it. Yeah, tomorrow I'll try and get a little clip, guys, so you can see the dance competition. She's very good. She's very good. yeah, as usual, as you say, Carolyn. Okay, guys, I probably will do another show, and I'll do a dog walk. So the day's not over. We've got more to come. We're gonna have a bit of eggs and bacon now, and then we're gonna walk the dogs, and then I'll probably do another show. Okay, guys. We're still going to carry on with Ginger Alden as well, so I want to carry on with that a bit more. Tomorrow is Anne Margaret Day. Tomorrow, Anne Margaret Day. They're all saying goodbye to you.
Bye-bye.
See you later, alligator.